Good evening. My name is Laura Petersheim. I'm the mother of Newton County student Charlotte Petersheim. Tonight, I want to speak to you about a reasonable accommodation my daughter needs in order to access a free, appropriate public education. Newton County Schools refuses to incorporate a medically necessary and prescribed accommodation that my daughter needs to be safe at school. Public schools are obligated to modify their policies, practices, and procedures to allow for reasonable accommodations under federal laws, like Americans with Disabilities Act and 504 regulations. Newton County Schools not only refuses to accommodate my child, but they're also refusing to incorporate this accommodation into her 504 plan. Let me start from the beginning. Charlotte, we call her Charlie, is a 10-year-old student at Mansfield Elementary School. On March 1st, 2022, she was a bright, spunky, healthy 7-year-old little girl. 12 days later, we were at CHOA in the ICU. She was in a coma, and we prayed that she would wake up. That's when we found out she has type 1 diabetes. Charlie's pancreas no longer produces insulin needed to regulate her blood sugar. This impacts everything in her life: eating, focus, learning, everything. She no longer has what she needs to live without constant monitoring and multiple daily injections of insulin. We quickly had to learn how to care for her. One of the ways we care for her is through a technology called continuous glucose monitor. It's a CGM. The CGM is at the heart of the issue that I bring to you tonight. A CGM is inserted into Charlie's skin every 10 days and reads her glucose every 5 minutes. Her readings can be shared from her phone to any caregiver through an app called Follow. This allows caregivers to receive alerts when her levels are out of range and respond before emergencies take place. It is not uncommon for schools to remotely monitor CGMs. There's over 183 counties across the United States that currently have policies in place for this accommodation. When requested, Newton County Schools not only has the ability, but it also has the obligation to receive alerts and view glucose on a school device. 18 months ago, I provided Newton County Schools with a medical order from her doctor indicating the medical necessity to receive audible CMG alerts on a school device so that the school could be notified when her glucose levels are out of range. This keeps her in class learning and prevents medical emergencies that can lead to coma, brain damage, and even death. The doctor's order reads, remote monitoring of the CGM by the school nurse or trained staff is medically necessary. As a public and federally funded school system, Newton County is required to comply with Americans with Disabilities Act, which interprets remotely monitoring diabetes for audible alerts a reasonable accommodation. I believe I've done everything I could possibly do in the past 18 months to try to get the proper care for my daughter within Newton County. I've done my best to advocate and educate our local school attendees, attend multiple 504 meetings, county personnel meetings, and informed our superintendent. It's my understanding that the superintendent has previously brought this issue before the board, and yet my daughter is still being denied this reasonable accommodation. Since the school refuses to follow Charlie, the medical care prescribed by her doctor, I'm charged with monitoring her from home throughout the day. If the school would allow this accommodation, there would be an iPad in the nurse's office displaying Charlie's glucose numbers. The nurse and other trained staff could see Charlie's glucose, and most importantly, they could hear alarms when she's dropping quickly and needs immediate help. The ability of a staff to hear audible alerts on a school device adds a significant level of safety that is not being provided at this time. It's important to say that this issue has resulted in 6 different Department of Justice letters from the U.S. attorneys in multiple states. I'm running out of time. Each one of these, those counties have been mandated to comply. Charlie has decided she'd like to speak, and I will give her that time.
Good evening, Newton County. I'm Charlotte Petersheim. When I'm at school, the nurse can't follow my blood sugar, so she's constantly coming to my class to check on me. But while she's with me, there could be kids in the office that are sick and need her way more than I do at that moment. Also, when she comes to my classroom, I have to stop working and learning to tell her what my blood sugar is. These are only a few of our problems and a few of the reasons why my nurse should follow my blood sugar when I'm at school. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next For public participation, we have Sheena Womack. And Ms. Womack, I'll hold up my arm if you could just monitor, like when you have 1 minute left. That way you know if you need to talk faster or slow it down.
I timed it. I think I'm okay.
Okay.
My name is Sheena Womack. I'm the mother of Paisley Marable. Last Friday, August 15th, Paisley had a severe low. This is a prime example of why she needs the nurse to follow her remotely at school. Paisley crashed and her phone didn't make any sounds for some reason, and it wasn't reading on her pump, so her pump wasn't making any sounds either. I got a notification that she was 53, double arrows down, which is a drastic, quick drop. I called her phone twice, no answer. I had to call the school and tell the interim nurse how low she was. She immediately went to get her, but Paisley continued to drop, ending up at 43 and double arrows down. My heart was in my stomach. This isn't the first time this has happened, and unfortunately, it won't be the last. We are 8 years into this disease, and it never gets easier. If the nurse had been allowed to have the Follow app on an iPad or other device, she would have gotten the same notification I got, and Paisley's persistent low could have been avoided. The nurse did her job 100% on Friday, but it could have been handled so much differently if she was being monitored remotely. There's a rule in place that says we can't do remote monitoring due to a liability. But again, that's Newton County's rule. It's a choice, and that's a choice Newton County is making. Paisley was diagnosed in pre-K and got on her CGM after 1 year of being diagnosed. They monitored her from kindergarten through 5th grade and then abruptly stopped. So there was a choice. You can't tell me there weren't audits done in that time. So the choice is being made to make things harder on diabetic students and yourselves, plus the liability is far greater without utilizing the remote monitoring. The nurses want to do this. This is something that they said that makes them feel better in their care for their diabetics. But nurses have their own liability, their own license and code of ethics to abide by. How can they, in good conscience, be a school nurse and only allowed to provide mediocre care to the children they're responsible for? That goes against the scope of their practice,
100%.
of their license and their morals.
100%.
Prevention and advance notice are key. And I'm trying to shorten this. We also have doctor's orders saying that Paisley has hypoglycemic unawareness and she needs to be monitored remotely. That's been presented to the schools and it's still been denied. I'm going to skip this part also. The lack of education for type 1 diabetes is unacceptable. Our previous experience has been that Paisley was told she was too much when she had to be given an insulin injection at school because her pump failed. That's unacceptable. In 2022, I'm not sure who arranged it, but CHOA did send their diabetes educators to Newton County nurses for training, which that needs to be provided to nurses, new hires, including teachers, staff, all the above. What I don't understand is why there are so many inadequacies for diabetics and their well-being while under school supervision. There are children with other conditions that fall under ADA, which diabetes does. Diabetes does not get the care that these other students get. I'm sorry, but that's discrimination. With all this being said, I do want to know where it is within your insurance policy and what laws that prevent you from following them. You say you can't, and I would like to see that in writing. Thank you.